Hello everyone, how are we doing? It has been so long since my last Flosstube and I am so sorry. It's just been busy. It has been so busy. But good things, all good things. We had a week away on holiday in the Lake District where we've never been, and it was really beautiful. We kind of managed to catch it just before all of the English schools broke up, so it was really quiet, and it was gorgeous, and we were so lucky with the weather. It was only one day that it absolutely chucked it down. And where we were staying, we're on a Park Dean resort, and we had a kind of like static caravan thing that was over a river. Oh my goodness, how high that river went up was just insane. We were a little worried, to say the least, because it really did rise very quickly, but it was all fine. We went to all different places. So we were staying just outside of Windermere, so obviously we went to Windermere, and we went to a waterfall, Air Force waterfall, and then we went to Keswick, and we went to Kendal and Kendal Castle. Then we went down to the Abbey in Furness, and then all the way down there, all the way back up. Lots of driving, lots of walks, and it was beautiful. It really was. A very good week away, and we managed to do it in 8 hours drive. So left here at 7:15 in the morning, and we arrived at our place at 2:45, and it was exactly the same on the way back, which I was kind of worried about because of it being the summer holidays, or the first day of summer holidays. I know some primary schools didn't finish until the Tuesday after, but I was worried we'd be absolutely stacked on the M5 and A30. We weren't. We left at 7:15 and we arrived back home at 2:45, which was amazing. It really was. So that was really good. Miss Luna, who was down here, in case you hear her, she had an operation 2 weeks ago tomorrow, which we were quite worried about. She is 11. She doesn't act like she's 11, but she is 11, and we weren't quite sure how she would go, but she did really well. So she's a working Cocker Spaniel, and she has a couple of, like, the fatty lumps and things. Anyway, she had one on her back leg that had grown quite a lot, and they were worried about the stretch of the skin, and they were worried about what it looked like in case it was anything nasty. And then she had another one on her chest, which was kind of like right between her ribs, about here, and it kept changing its consistency. It would be really squidgy and soft, fine, and then it go really hard. So when I took her to the vets to go and have them removed, the vet was like, I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one. When I eventually picked her up, it turned out that there was actually a couple of layers of muscle over the one on her chest, so that is why it kept changing its consistency. So glad we got those out. They didn't think they needed to test them, which is great. They're keeping them just in case any more come up of a similar thing. Was really worried about how she'd cope and get back. And yesterday was the first day in almost 2 weeks that she could be let off the lead and have a run. And oh my goodness, did she run. Absolutely loved it. It was so nice to see her back to her usual antics, and then she absolutely crashed as soon as we got home yesterday afternoon. Bless her. Who's ready for this heat wave? Forgot to say, it is Monday the 11th of August, so it has been like 2 months or a month since I last did my last Flosstube, which is really bad. But yes, I've been busy with orders, with Cross and Crafts, with other side of work, been prepping. I'm doing this summer school next week for Hallford, Cornwall, which is at Newsies Junior that we are putting on. We're putting it all together and putting it on in 6 days, so that's going to be full on, but it'll be good fun. And then 2 weeks later, back to school, teaching, and back to doing rehearsals. Start rehearsals and a launch night for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is going to be a Cornish premiere in the new building that's been completely renovated, the Ritz in Penzance. It's been closed for years and it's finally reopening, and we're doing it in there, which is going to be amazing. I hope you've all been keeping all right. I'm not one fan of heat, and these last few weeks has been difficult, and then now that we're getting another heat wave, I'm ready for cold. I'm an autumn and winter person. I love it getting colder and crisp, clear mornings and all of that, but we are British, we do like to complain. So we'll see how that goes this week, but never mind. So, stitching. I have done quite a bit. I've done quite a bit of stitching. I have almost, on my rotation of projects, made it back round to Hocus Pocus, which is amazing. And I have made a decision on one as well. When we were away in the Lake District, I did a birth sampler for some friends who had their son back in March, and I started it and I was like, wait, this is so much bigger than what I thought it was going to be. But I took it with me to Lake District, so each evening I sat and stitched on it and I finished it. So I will, you would have seen on Instagram and Facebook, I kind of like scribbled out, but I managed to gift it to them, I think it's about 2 weeks ago, and they absolutely loved it, which is great. And it's just something that you can always have. It was a really beautiful pattern, and I got it from Etsy, really cheap. It was only a couple of pounds, and you can personalise them, which is great. So I've got another one to do. It's going to be a different one for someone else, so I'll get started on that at some point soon. But it was quite nice to actually have a week of not working on full coverage, although I did miss the full coverage. And then you start doing the full coverage and you're like, I'm not making any progress because it's just sky or it's all dark. But I have to say, it has actually been a lot more than that. I've just realised I haven't calculated that in. Hang on, let me do quick maths. 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 31. Okay, I have just added that together. I think that's right. So let's get on to the projects. So since my I've done this since my last YouTube video. Since my last Flosstube video, I can say I have stitched, ignoring the birth sampler, so this is just full coverage, I have managed to stitch 31,699 stitches, which I think is pretty good, really. I really didn't think I'd get that much done. But I am using the series of challenges by Cross and Crafts, our challenge series. I'm on Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone, and I'm currently on chapter 9, which I'm doing on Santorini, which I spoke about, I believe, in my first video, was the one that I'd switched round to. Because I was doing the world tour challenge, and I've decided to ditch that and keep going with the Harry Potter challenge because I just feel like it's really helping me stitch a lot more because of those little milestones. It really does make a difference. So let's make a start. So I've kind of done this from my last video, what was the last thing I showed you, and then carry on from there, really. And going through these, I kind of think, oh, I can't wait to get back to those. So I haven't stitched on Hocus Pocus because I'm not there yet. I'm stitching on Santorini, and then it will be Hocus Pocus again, which is the first one I started for the Harry Potter challenge. So I've got to get chapter 9 done with Santorini, max colours, and then I can go to Hocus Pocus for chapter 10. And once I'm halfway through chapter 9, I've also realised I'm halfway through the Philosopher's Stone, which is pretty good considering we only started it in June. I've only probably got about 1,000 stitches to do, and I'm halfway through the chapter if you go, because there's 17 chapters in total. So by getting to 9.5, that's, yeah, it's exciting. It's really exciting. 8.5. 8.5. 17, 16. 8 times 2 is 16. I'm already halfway through. Why did I think it was chapter 9? I don't know. So I'm almost halfway through, or I am over halfway through, which is super exciting. Anyway, let's get on to the first project. So, the first one I shall be showing is from Tilton Crafts, and it's called Crimson Sonata. which I've shown you before, but obviously have stitched on it since, I believe. Must have done, because I did it from, oh, it doesn't matter, stop waffling. So on this one, it is stitched on 32 count 1 by 110, as you know, it's my favourite way of stitching. I was at 21,246 stitches, which was 17%. I have since stitched 4,526 stitches, bringing me to 20.99%. So total I've stitched is 25,713 stitches out of 122,500. So we're making a pretty good progress, almost at 21%. And this is where we're up to. So this here is the very end of the project. So I've managed to fill in all of the piano, all of these windows, and then started on these beautiful flowers that are coming down here. So the next time I actually get into this, I reckon I'll finish that end and I'll be able to go back down here. Now, obviously it is all rolled up, but it's not overly large. But look at that, isn't it pretty? I'm loving how the windows are coming out. And obviously once all of this is filled in, you'll be able to see the flowers pop a little bit more. I wasn't sure if I'd get bored because it's all browns, but actually I really like it. And I feel like I can, when I'm stitching it, I can make really quick progress on it. So really impressed with that one. Loving that one. The back is a mess. I'm not for a clean back. I mean, it's not too bad, but you can see where I've ended stuff. And because I park, and I used to be really, really rigid in going down one column, all threads, parking the next one, going back up. To make a bit more progress, I'm kind of cross-country stitching within a page. So I will take a thread colour, say the top one, say one of these, and I will stitch it up, down, across the 10 by 10 columns until I get to the next page, and then I'll park it in the next page. So therefore I don't get overly confused as to where I am. I went further with that with the World Travel Bookshelf, or I was, and then when I got round to it again, I kind of tried to make it to that page because then it makes a bit more sense. But yes, that's Crimson Sonata. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like as we go further down. Can't wait. So I also bought a new storage box to store all of my cute snappy ones in. I was using a cardboard box that I get my envelopes in, and then I had a couple of really big orders, so I had to give up the cardboard box. So I bought a new plastic one, which is probably better for them anyway. So next one is from the Cross Stitch Studio, and it is Snape's Library. 32 count 1 by 110 again. With this one, I like this one, and then I don't stitch in it for a while, and I really want to get back to it. It is quite blocky. Well, blocky. It is blocky, but it won't be for long. And I love the look of it, and I really want to start another one, but I know how big they are. So for example, this one is 640,000 stitches. It's not my biggest project. It's my second biggest project that I've got on the go at the moment. Don't include the ones that I've got charts for. Charts I've got goodness knows how many. So with Snape's Library, I was on, what does that say, 12,510 stitches. So I was at 2%. I put in 4,527, so 26 for a chapter again, with the old Harry Potter challenge, which brought me to 2.65%. So I've done 0.65% with 4,500 stitches, which, considering how big it is, that isn't that bad. So we're now at a grand total of 17,037 stitches. And here it is. Now, as you can see, it looks really dark and grey. I know these will fluff up. These will definitely fluff up. But we're getting the bottom of the cabinet in the bottom left corner. And then, as you can see, I've got my part there that I've left part. Because I was being rigid. I was being there, and I was like, no, let's just keep carrying them along till I run out. So that's kind of like the beginning of the floorboards, which is quite exciting. Yeah, really like this one. really enjoying it. And it is very dark, but it will get brighter. And the fact of how much further up it's got to go is, yeah, I mean, we've got all of that wrapped fabric up in there. I don't know if I'll keep this Q-snap the same size. So I have done, I believe, a 17 by 11 I've put on there. But I think I will change this for the 8. I've kind of realised I like having less of a height on a frame since I've been putting more stitches in all these projects, which is great. I prefer having a shorter length, shorter height frame, because then you don't see all of the blank fabric and what is still got to have stuff added to it. So yeah, so I will probably change this out. And this grand guard I made myself. I made it very wide because of all the fabric, and then I realised I didn't need it that wide. But if I change the frame size, then it'll make sense it'll hold the fabric even better. So yeah, so that is Snape Library, which I'm looking forward to going on. So I've got another 3 projects. So I'm doing Santorini at the moment, then switch to Hocus Pocus, then Crimson Sonata, which I've just shown you, and then I'll be on this one. So that's all quite exciting. Okay, so next one is Mini Enchanted Reindeer from Heaven Earth Designs. And this is on a scroll frame. And the end is in sight. We are so close. So close. I hope to get this one finished this year. So I was at 59,991 stitches. I was at 77%. I added in a chapter of stitches, 4,526. So we are at 64,517 stitches out of 78,000. We are at 82.63%. So that 4,500 put 5% on it. I've got less than 14,000 stitches to go, which is really exciting. And here it is. So this one isn't on 32 count. This is on 25 count. 2 by 1 tent. It does get a bit thick, but that's okay. It's not so bad. This is side tensioners that we make. Really handy. They really do keep your fabric nice and tight. But this is Mini Enchanted Reindeer. Look at his face. Isn't he gorgeous? And we've got the sleigh in the background and we are at the bottom. So I had only done about half of this leg. So there's 4,500 stitches, especially that. And look, I've gone across again. They're all my waist threads. So yeah, so they're going in there. So with the waist threads, I might as well say as I've got those here. When I finish a stitch, I end up, say I come through here or finish it there, so do my last stitch around here, I will then pull the end of the thread through the second column across. So I'll skip a column and bring it up through there. So therefore the back of it gets anchored, which is easy enough done. I am getting distracted by the back of this one. I don't know if it's because it's 25 count and I may have travelled a bit too far on some, but who doesn't like a messy back? It goes to show all your hard work. I mean, you can kind of see what's happening, but yeah, it's pretty thick and it's pretty messy, but it's fine. We learn as we stitch, don't we? So this is the very end. This is the bottom. Just got to get down to that corner and we're done. So I reckon I can get this finished this year. I think we shall see. We shall see where we get to once I get to it. Because I know the chapter after what I'm stitching right now is, so chapter 10, I think, is 5,000 stitches. So it's 500 more. And then the last one or the last two, the last one is about 3.5 to try and equal it out. But when I get to it, I could probably try and focus on getting this one finished. And then that's a project done. How amazing would that be? So Mini Enchanted Reindeer. Let me put you, let's put you against that part of this cabinet. This is the fabric cabinet. It's got all the fabric in it. It's great. Okay, so the next is another Heaven Earth Designs. This is the Retired Dawn of a New Day by by Lucy Pittaway. I'm so glad I got this before she retired them. I've seen some people, I love her Sycamore Gap. Like I've said before, I'm not a fan of animals, she says, stitching a reindeer. Or people, that's one of my new starts. It's nice to give it a go. I love Lucy Pittaway's Sycamore Gap, where it's got the two sheep and you've got the, you know, Hadrian's Wall and the Sycamore Gap in between. I love that one, and I'm gutted that I didn't get it when it was on Heaven Earth Designs. I would get the bothy version, but for me it looks really pixelated, and I like things to look relatively real. I don't know. I've got way too many charts. Stop. But I do like Lucy Pittaway, and I love that one. I love Dawn of a New Day. There's no animals in it, but it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. So I'm looking forward to cracking on with it. So with Dawn of a New Day, I was at 19,863 stitches, which was about 6%. So I stitched, again, a chapter, 4,528, extra 2 stitches in the bank, which brought me to 24,391. So I'm now at 7.7%. So that has put me on almost 2%, which is fab. So 24,391 I'm at, out of 316,500. When you look at these, you don't realise actually how big they are. And then you get them. But this is where we're at with this one. Now this one is a bit small on this frame, but we are on trees. We are on trees. The bottom, again, bottom left corner. And this here is the beginning of a building, which will go down. Then you've got the river, or the opening, the estuary. And then you've got loads of buildings in the harbour. So it's going to be really pretty, but look at those colours. And for a change, this isn't on 32 count. This is on 28 count. And this is 1 by 1/10. So like how I do it on the 32 count, but instead it's 28. So it is showing a little bit of fabric through, but they'll fluff up when it's washed. I thought I'd give it a go, because I never really quite know what to do with 28. I don't want to do full cross. I like full cross, but with these big projects, it just takes far too long. 2 by 1 is too thick with CXC. I'll come on to that later. So I thought I'd try 1 by 1. And actually, far away, it looks all right. It's not that bad. It's only really up close. So I suppose in a way, the fabric will shrink a little once it gets washed. And the threads will fluff up. So I think that might be the way forward, especially with the CXC. So I'm loving that one. And I can't wait to get a bit more, like the building done, and then get the water started. And it'll be really, really pretty. Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait for that one to carry on with that. We're almost at surpassing, this might be my longest Flosstube yet. It's been a while, that'll be why. It's too many projects. So, next one is Welcome Home Max Colours from Heaven Earth Designs. This is kind of like the Harry Potter one. I dreaded putting this one in the mix, because I thought, oh, it's going to take forever to get the 4,526 stitches for the chapter. You know what? It actually wasn't. It was actually the same time as some of the rest of them. Yes, the blocky ones only take about 4 or 5 days. I'm lucky at the moment I've got every evening in, bar a couple. Excuse me. So it actually helps. And I was like, this is going to take forever. I'm not going to see much. But actually, you can see a lot. So with this one, I was at 72,610. So I think this was the one that I had the most stitches in on, bar the reindeer. So I was at 72,610 stitches, so 23%. I stitched 4,540, so that's 14 stitches over. Bringing it to 77,150 stitches out of 318,000. Again, you don't realise there's that much. And we're at 24.3%. We're almost a quarter of the way in, which I was really surprised at. I was like, really? Have we got there? I'm only on the second row down of pages. And this is where we're at. Oh, let me move that out of the way. So before, I was about here and I've managed to do all of that with it. Yeah, it's come along quite well. Obviously got the writing at the top, so it'd be nice to get across and join up over there, and then I'll start again down here. Like I said in my previous video, I kind of decided to start that side. No, I'm definitely more like reading a book. But yeah, it is, it's all right. And this is again on 32 count 1 by 1. It's getting there. We're getting somewhere. So I think this here is the lion's ear, which is quite cool how I got to the lion. So I'm quite excited to see where we get to next on it. Yeah, loving this one. It's getting there. We've made progress. We're just making progress. So the next one is a new start, which I shouldn't have done, but I did. So there is a story as to why I picked this one. I'll try and insert a picture of this into this video because it is really pretty. So I've seen a lot of people buying the heart designs from Stitches So Beautiful, and I've got one, and then I saw this one. So in our kitchen we have by the sink, this house was built in like the late 1800s, 1850s, 1860s, and bless it, it's been rented for so long. We've been at 2 years, we bought it. It's our first purchase house. Unfortunately, it's been rented for so long that it is just layers of paint. Layers and layers of paint on either single brick or on lime plaster. And it is cheap paint. That means it's all getting mouldy because the walls can't breathe. So we're kind of like gradually making our way-ish. Trying to do it. Husband is loving it. Matt is doing so well, stripping things back, trying to get things fixed, all gradually because of funds and time and, you know, all of that. So downstairs in our kitchen, where our sink is, we'd noticed every time it rains, water comes through the wall where our window is. It's not the window, it's the wall. So it's single brick. Had a very, well, I didn't really have it. It was like a small slither of plaster on it, let alone anything else. And it was always freezing cold. So there was no barrier against it. It was just all seeping in, trying to figure out what to do. Anyway, we scraped it back and realised it was just brick. Well, breeze block brick type thing. And it didn't really have any plaster or anything, so bless him, he's replastered it. We found this amazing paint because it's an external wall and it's single brick. Looked. We went for Shore Therm, which is kind of a paint that has glass particles in it. So therefore it kind of helps create a barrier for condensation, but lets things breathe, all that kind of stuff. Shoved it on, what a difference it's made to the heat in the wall. So far, touch wood, no water's come through. And then we were like, okay, we need to get breathable paint. So went to Earthborn Paints, and I bought a green. Wasn't quite sure how to feel about it. Anyway, needs to do another coat on it. 1 sample pot's done the wall. One coat. So you just need 1 more sample pot and then it'd be done. And it's a really nice green. But I was like, we need something to make it brighter. And where the window is, there's quite a bit of wall and it's just green. And I was like, we need something to break it up. And then I saw this chart, which I will insert here. And this is called Sipping Coffee in the Quiet City. And I really like it. Love coffee. Love cities. It looks a little bit like New York, which we were very lucky to go to a couple of years ago. And I thought, you know what? That's going to look really pretty with a white mount and a light wood frame. So I bought it and I started it on 32 count 1/1 tent. Again, I got a chapter in, 4,526 stitches. It's a total of 160,000 stitches, and we're at 2.83%, which I think is pretty good. And this is where we are. So it's kind of like there is a lot of colours. There is a lot of colours in this beiginess. And then this is like the edge of the heart, which is, yeah, I quite like it. And I managed to get quite a lot done. So this is a new start for the kitchen, which I've got to get done. I've got to order the paint to do the second layer, but that is going to look lovely against the like kind of dark greenish thing in the kitchen. So yeah, so it's really nice. It's really nice to stitch on another designer, another chart designer, chart maker. I've got Tilton, I've got Heaven and Earth Designs, I've got the Cross Stitch Studio. Why not go with Stitches So Beautiful and see how they go? Because I've actually got 2 others of their charts, which I will do. But I thought this one would be really cool for the kitchen. So it's got a place to go to, so it needs to get done. So that is a little. So next time, hopefully, there will be more on it. And then I have just one more. I have my World Travel bookshelf, because I made a big decision. The next in the rotation was the Gecko Rouge. The Moonlight, I can't remember. Moonlight one, of the artsy crafty Roseanne Bell art. Love it. I really want to stitch it. I really do. I pulled it out. 4.5 hours. I can usually get a good 800-900 stitches, if not more. In 4.5 hours on that one, I managed 260. 260 stitches. That's it. I was struggling with the fact it's 28 count. Now, because it's DMC, I was like, you know what? I'll do this 2x110 because 6 is thicker. So therefore, that's why that gets really bulky. But I'm not happy. I don't like it. I don't like stitching on it. But I really want to stitch it. So I've made the decision. So I was about 7% on that. 7%? No, not that much. I was on about 7,000 stitches. That's the right one. 7,000 stitches. And I was like, I'm not going to get this finished. I'm not going to get this finished. So at the moment, it is put aside in here. The plan is to do it on 32 count. Favourite. And I'm going to go through the wonderful boxes of threads of CXCs. And I'm going to match them to the Gecko Rouge DMC threads. And I'm going to stitch it with CXC. Because I don't like the feel of DMC. I am a full convert, and everyone, each to their own. Fine, I get it. Lots of people love DMC. I'm just so used to stitching with CXC. It's a nicer feel, nicer coverage. One thing that I found, so obviously where they've done their kits and they've done the loop the other way, you have to pull it out, unravel, then fold the thread, then snip it. I'm basically doing a complete kit for myself, really, which is what, you know, we do, but we do it round. So literally, when you, for example, when you have the, not going through and it goes over that way, you literally just pull from that and it's easier. But obviously with their kits, you have to twist it all around, all that kind of stuff. But what I was finding was by pulling the thread from there, it literally just like goes all curly. So then it's a nightmare trying to get it through and keep it straight and stop it from breaking because it's curling. I don't want to have to keep undoing it all the time. So I have made that decision. I am going to eventually, one day, maybe after Newsies next week, 32 count, match the threads and start again with CXC on 32 count. The only other problem is, when I got that one, I also ordered another kit, which is a beautiful stag, which I love. But I'm not going to like it because it's 28 count with DMC. So I'm just going to have to do the same. I'm going to have to do exactly the same with that one. Switch it all out and go from there. All that I've done with that stag kit is overlock the fabric. Other than that, it's a complete kit. It hasn't been touched. So I don't know what I will do with those. But anyway, that's my decision. So that's why that isn't being shown, because I was just hating it and I need to do it again and sort it out for the way that I like to stitch, which you only find out when you give it a go, don't you? So the last project of this, or it's almost a WIP parade, isn't it? Can we class this as a WIP parade? My first WIP parade? Maybe. We're only missing 2 projects. One I'm stitching and one I haven't done yet. I mean, look. Here you go, WIP parade. Focus pocus. Which should we stitch on next? I suppose could be. So the last one is Having Their Designs, Supersize Max Colour, World Travel Bookshelf. I have 2 other charts that are Supersize Max Colour. And when I last stitched on this one, I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to order those as regular. I don't think I can do another Supersize Max Colour because it just takes so long. Well, would you believe I stitched 4,526 stitches in about 3.5 days on this one. Now, it's probably because it was the sky, and bits in between. But I was really surprised. I was like, do I really need to get them as regular? The other ones, so Once Upon a Fairy Tale and the Grand Library. I mean, they are huge. So with World Travel Bookshelf, SSMC, I was at 53,176 stitches, so I was at 7%. I've added a chapter, 4,526 stitches, which brings me to 58,410 stitches out of 722,277. Definitely the biggest project yet. And we made it to 8.09%. I did over 1% with a chapter. Oh, I'm so glad I've released this challenge. I just love it. It's just, you just see the progress more. So this is it. And this is Snape's Library, frame size. It makes more sense. You don't get so overwhelmed with all the extra fabric in a way. So I was here. And we have managed to stitch all of this. So these parked threads are where the next page started. So I've kind of carried on the next page and going across, and then they'll be parked over there. Yeah. We got somewhere. This is another book with a butterfly. Yeah, it's making progress. I've just realised it's really dark. Maybe that'd be better. But yeah, we've made progress. It's been good. Will I do them as SSMC, the other ones? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see how this one goes. We'll see how it goes. So that 32 count, 1 by 1/10. Again, I'm liking it. And then you realise how much fabric you've still got to go, but where you've been. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It's going to be a long progress one, a long stitch one. But yeah, so all of that is 31,699 stitches. Pretty pleased with that. Yeah, pretty pleased with all that progress in however long it has been since my last video. Gonna keep going, get to the end of the Philosopher's Stone. I want to complete Philosopher's Stone by the end of this year and at least start Chamber of Secrets. Can't wait. So yeah, I will be adding in some more challenges. I've got to do those in a couple of weeks, I think. I'm going to add some more challenges for other people to join. We're almost at 500 members in the Facebook group, which is amazing. If you want to come along, I'll pop the link in below. But thank you so much for watching and listening, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.